What's up, guys? It's Sociology Fun Time.
Welcome to the first exciting lesson of Learning with Bent. Let's get started. And the first lesson we're going to be looking on is Sociology Unit 1. And we're going to be looking on some multiple choice questions. So this is your MCQ. Please stay tuned while we look on our multiple choice questions in preparation for the CAPE examination. And our first question reads, which of the following is not an agent of socialization? And the options are A, mass media, B, globalization, C, religion, or D, peer group. Which is the correct answer? Your answer is question number 1 is B, globalization. Globalization is not an agent of socialization. Let's move on to question 2. The view that socialization determines human behavior is proposed by, is it A, Davis and Moore, or B, biological theorists, or C, Darwin, or is it D, Lombroso? And the correct answer for this question is C, Darwin. Let's move on to question number 3. Which of the following theories argue that social order is determined through consensus and solidarity? Option A, Mead, B, Bowles and Gintis, C, Durkheim, D, Becker. And the answer for question number 3 is Durkheim. That's the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 4. Which statement is true? Let's put on those thinking caps. And the answer for question 4 is A. Mechanical solidarity is to pre-industrial society as organic is to industrial society. Yes, let's keep those questions going. And we now move on to question 5. Marxism is it A, a historic macro theory, B, a historic micro theory, C, a theory formed from the writing of Comte, or is it D, a theory based on communism? And the answer is A, a historic macro theory. Question number 6. Human behavior is determined by society, but human interaction and meaning given to it is a view proposed by, is it A, the Marxists, B, functionalists, C, the postmodernists, or is it D, interactionists? And the answer is, yes, it is letter D, the interactionists. Let's move down to question number 7. Which of the following is the difference between functionalism and interactionism? Let's look at those answers. And the correct answer for question 7 is C. Interactionism largely believes that human behavior is determined by external stimuli, while interactionism does not. Let's look at question number 8. Mechanical solidarity is represented in, is it A, traditional societies, B, mechanical societies, C, pre-industrial society, or D, modern society? And the answer for that is C, pre-industrial societies. Let's move down to question number 9. According to Durkheim, society is held together by... Yes, that's the correct answer. Letter C, the collective conscience. Let's move down to question 10. One of the first thinkers to study and write about the social change brought about on by modernization and industrialization is... Let's put on those thinking cap. Yes, it is Max Weber. Moving on to question 11. One of the main theories associated with a conflict perspective is no other than Mr. Karl Marx. Yes, it is. Moving on to question 12. According to Ralph Miliband, which of the following features earlier identified by Marx continues to be evident in modern society? Is it A, shared ownership of capital, B, exploitation of employers by their employees, or C, opposition, or maybe it could be D, all of the above? What is the answer? The answer for question 12 is D, all of the above. Moving on to question number 13. For Marx, the infrastructure represents the... You got that right. It's B, the economy. Right, let's move down to question number 14. Social class can be identified in terms of... Let's look on what it can be identified. Is it A, individuals who share a similar economic status in society? B, a ranking or grouping of individuals according to their social status? Or is it C, broad group of people who share a similar economic situation? Or maybe it could be D, broad groups of people who share a similar status. And the answer for question 14 is C. Social class can be defined in terms of broad group of people who share a similar economic situation. Question 15. People who are provided, or rather, people who provide labor necessary to operate factories are called... What are they called? The answer is B, proletariat. Let's move on to question 16. People who own productive enterprises are called... And the answer is B, bourgeoisie. Let's move on to question number 17. Marx argued that helped to move society from each epoch to the next. What moves society, class? Yes, conflict. So Marx argued that conflict moves society. Right, so let's move on to question number 18. Marx's work was largely influenced... Let me repeat this question for our viewers. So Marx's work was influenced by what type of analysis? Was it A, slavery, B, color, C, class, or D, race? The correct answer for this is class. Marx's work was influenced by class. Let's move on to question 19. For Karl Marx, which was more important for determining the character of society? A, the superstructure, B, infrastructure, C, subculture, or D, subculture? And the answer for this is B, the infrastructure. Moving on to question number 20. In his contribution to the theory of social change, Marx focused on yes, history as a driving force for change in modern world. And that is the correct answer. So we have looked at question 1 to 20, and we now look at some other questions. Right, let's move on to question number 21. The question number 21 reads, the explanation of social problems grounded in the shortcomings of individuals rather than the flaws of society, Marx called, what is this called? Capitalism. Yes, C, capitalism is the correct answer. Question 22. Conflict theorists focus on A, educating as a way of promoting census and solidarity, or B, none of the given option. Maybe it's C, education as preparation for assumption of adult role in society, or is it D, education as transmission of values of the ruling minority to support the existing social order? So the correct answer for conflict theories focus on D, education as transmission of the values of the ruling class to support the existing social order. Let's move on to question number 23. The recognition of workers of their unity as a class in opposition to capitalism and capitalists is called, yes, it is called communism. That's the correct answer. Question 34. The term, question 24. The term organic solidarity is associated with, is it Herbert Spencer, Herbert Mead, Charles Coley, or is it Emile Durkheim? The answer is Emile Durkheim. So organic solidarity is associated with Emile Durkheim. Let's look at question 25. Structural functionalist believes that B, conflict occurs but is only temporary. Moving on to question 26. Structural functionalism is it a macro theory, a micro theory, a micro-macro theory, or is it a phenomenological paradigm? The answer is structural functionalism is a macro theory. Moving on to question number 27. Traditional society is associated with, yes, the answer is B, mechanical solidarity. In question 28, it reads, Weber is linked to which theoretical perspective? And the answer for that is A, the social action theory. Let's look on question 29. One of the key features of Weber's rational organization is, let's see what the answer for this is. Put on your thinking caps. Yes, it is A, hierarchical authority. Now we move on to question 30. Right, so question 30. The classes Max Weber identified as existing in capitalist society are, and I'll give you a few seconds to think about the answer. The classes Weber identified as existing in capitalist society. The correct answer is D, proprietary upper class, manual white-collar workers, petite bourgeoisie, and the working class. Let's look at question 31. Weber's perspective is yes, it is a micro perspective. Micro perspective. Move on to question 32. For Weber, which concept has the power to transform? And the correct answer is A, ideas. Let's move on to question 33. The focus of the interpretivist perspective is, what's the answer for this? A, large-scale interaction between groups in face-to-face settings. Let's move on to question number 33. The focus of the question number 34. We just read question number 33. Question number 34. Weber's idea of social change was linked to, what was the Weber's idea of social change linked to? It was linked to B, traditional society and rational society. Right, let's move on. Check how much you have got correct so far. Number 35. Phenomenology as one of the microsociological perspective focus on which of the following? Let's put your thinking caps on. Right, so the answer for question 34 is A, phenomenology as one of the microsociological perspective focuses on how meanings are created. Moving down to question 36. Auguste Comte was he a structural functionalist? Was he a conflict theorist? Was he a positivist? Or was Auguste Comte a symbolic interactionist? What is the answer? The answer is definitely, without a doubt, C, a positivist. Question 37. Comte's early contribution to sociology stressed the following. What did Comte stress? What was his contribution to sociology? The correct answer for this question is B. Sociology should be rooted in positivism. That is the application of the systematic method of observation to social life. Let's move on to question number 38. The most commonly used research instrument utilized by macrosociologists is, let's look at these answers. The correct answer is A, structured questionnaires. Let's look on question 39. In groups and out groups. frequently display what characteristics to each other? Do they have conflict or partnership, or do they have conflict and partnership, or do they share emotional bond? The correct answer is A, conflict between each group. Question number 40. Social group facilitates the following. Is it A, personal development, B, hatred and rivalry, C, socialization, or D, all of the above? And the answer is D, all of the above. And we have come to the end of this multiple choice MCQ answer segment. Tune in next class where we will look on some more multiple choice questions. I want you to like, share, subscribe. I'll upload Unit 1, Unit 2 for Sociology, and we'll also look on Social Studies. So like, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching.